Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 0 of the. Oh God, we forgot to name the podcast.
Ah, shit. Oh man, I
Oh
knew there
no,
was something. I knew there was something we forgot on.
I'm
Let's
sure there's
reset.
already one called. Oh God, we forgot to name the podcast.
Um,
Yeah,
we could call it. I was trying to come up with like homeschool, like Homer's homeschooled Odyssey or Adventures in Homer's Odyssey.
yeah. That feels more like it's going to be like a Greek mythology sort of a dealio. But yeah, I was going to say an Odyssey of Adventure or something like that. But then also we don't want to.
Oh, Dissy Piss.
Oh, Disney. Oh God.
They're
Uh,
not all bangers.
this is why you focus test things,
This
folks.
is why you focus on the family.
No, stop.
Okay, that one was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Anyway, so we're starting this podcast. We're gonna do sort of a the initial idea came out of an interest in looking back on the Focus on the Family radio program, Adventures in Odyssey, which is something that we grew up with.
Yeah.
A little bit. We'll talk about our individual experiences and what we do and don't remember, but we've with the passing of Dr. James Dobson and
Rest in piss,
the
bitch.
the joy that brought in so many traumatized people. It inspired a conversation amongst Jubilee and I. Maybe we should introduce ourselves. Hello, my name is Eric Eberly.
Hi, I'm Jubilee Alexander.
Anyway, we are, as you may be able to guess, either through if you're watching this by our looks or listening to it by our voices, we are in fact identical twins, or somewhat
Or
identical
we
twins.
were.
We were identical twins.
We were before a life of somehow a bunch of fundamentalist radio did not prevent me from experimenting with recreational estrogen, and
Who knew? They should have adventured harder into Odyssey.
I guess
Um,
they didn't talk about estradiol in Odyssey.
Strange. Aren't there scientists in this? We'll get into it.
He's a
Any,
doctor. Come on, Dobson.
Come on, Dobson. Anyway, so Adventures in Odyssey was a radio program produced by Focus on the Family, a conservative evangelical Christian. It's kind of the thing. I almost did some research for this episode to be like, I should be able to talk about what that is, but who? What? Maybe we'll do a deep dive someday into
It'll be
that.
it
But
might be it'll be worth it at some point. Not as much because of what Focus on the Family itself is, because I'm sure there is somewhere a legal entity that is Focus on the Family, and it is probably a company that produced that, like a media company. But what Focus on the Family is connected to James Dobson, who is one of the architects. Um, I did actually do some research, but this was a few weeks ago. But he is one of like the three main people who tied conservative American politics to religious, specifically like a more fundamentalist religious Protestantism in the United States. Before that, it was kind of loosey goosey. Like politics were about actually the running and governance of the country, not all moral issues all the time, which is what it is now. So, like, while Focus on the Family might be a small part of that puzzle and a small part of what James Dobson did, it is undeniable that it is part of that. It is a big part of that, and where a lot of us got our start into the world of honestly shockingly low budget fundamentalist propaganda.
yeah, so what we kind of we were as we were sort of workshopping ideas for like what this program was going to be and stuff. We were kind of like, I mean, and we'll talk. In just a minute we'll get into like our individual like memories of what of Adventures in Odyssey specifically was, but we're like, we don't want to just go after one particular program because for by my limited memory of it, it's gonna be like our complaints are going to be the same. So like how interesting is that going to be to be like, hey, guess what? They are very conservative Christian. Like what do you want to what else do you want us to say? But we kind of thought that rather than yeah, like you were saying, as it ties into the conservative politics and it's melding with religion in the United States, um, going more into like the subtler ways, like its piece specifically, in our lives growing up about what this program and programs like it um, uh, uh, served as in our lives and how it influenced us, or in some ways failed to influence us. And so we'll get into that. And as we were talking about this, we started to go, oh my god, do you remember? And then we start listing all these other movies and music and stuff like that to be like, why is this the way that it is?
Do you remember? Do you remember the very Christian guy, the guy who made cleaning videos? This sounds like a YouTube thing, but they were VHS tapes on how to clean your house with a weirdly biblical spin, but he was
Yes,
also a really good stand-up comedian. I remember him being hysterical. And like
yes.
we're not just gonna be here to shit on the low, like, haha, this is conservative, this is Christian, and it's low budget. The low budget things we are gonna make fun of because we love media and we love analysis of things, and we are ultimately against the political goals behind it. But some of this media I have a great deal of good feelings towards. I
Oh my
also
god,
remember I remember Willie the Sparrow being bizarrely horny at times, and I was into that. Go on.
I was gonna say, literally, as you just said that, Kent Hovind was his name, and he's a
Oh, Ken
fucking
Hovind, yeah.
psychopath.
Oh
Like,
no.
I was reintroduced to him through another documentary talking about like young Earth creationism, and it's tied into this whole. It's a whole nother thing, and I was like, wait.
Why that
And
name?
I was like, because they brought up his name, and then they showed a clip of him, and I was like, the cleaning video guy.
Oh no.
The guy who taught me how to clean a toilet so that you didn't have to get your hands wet. Like, anyway, there's probably going to be a lot of these very inside, like, oh my god, you
Well,
remember that? And everyone
while
listening to
you
this is going to go, no, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
while you all watched Nickelodeon, we studied the toilet.
Um, but yeah. So the end result of this is just is general analysis of and sort of the decoding of some of the deeper, because again, we're not just coming in here to be like haha religion sort of a thing. It's like a no. There was like a deeply anti like almost anti technology bend to Adventures in Odyssey, which was
Really? I'm not
which
remembering this
which
at all.
it's possible that I'm extrapolating from something, but I seem to remember that there was a lot of and it's weird to say because some of the characters involved in it are like inventors, and you're like, surely they're like for technology, but I don't really think they were. I think it was like, look at these, like trying to solve the world's problem with technology, like where's that going to come? And it's going to be more subtle things like that we're going to look into, because someone so that's
I
going to
mean,
be.
God, I just was listening to something about this, but like the politics behind not giving a shit about the Earth are very much, well, one, they're very prescient to the way no one is doing goddamn anything for global warming right now. But like an anti-technology bend like that, that's like, don't do this, don't solve the world's problems. Be is directly tied to the way they view that Jesus is seriously coming back next week. We are recording this episode on
Oh
the
God,
23rd. They
it's September
literally
twenty
thought the
third, September 23rd, 2025.
Mhm. They literally think the rapture is happening like this afternoon. This has been the latest, and that is a tale as old as time. People have all been saying the rapture has been happening. Like, I I remember weirdly, this is such a strange lesson. I remember, I think it was mom tell us one time. She described that the apostles standing on the mountain with Jesus when he went up to heaven and said, "I'm going to return soon." She was like, they probably waited there for like a couple hours, be like, he said he was coming back, like, and which is very funny to think about that they were like they sitting there 2,000 years later, you know, James' skeleton is just sitting up there on
Yeah, standing there, white beards, skeletons.
this
You know,
Whitebeard skeleton.
the 4 panel comic. I'm coming back. Um, yeah, so let's get into sort of our experience. So when Dobson died and everyone started talking about it, specifically our two younger siblings were who are about 5 or 6 years younger than us, were talking about this show to a level that I personally don't remember. I literally remember one episode of the show that we owned on like cassette tape or something
Yeah.
that we would listen to on long car rides and stuff. But I forget if it was, again, maybe some research would have been helpful to know like where it was produced. But it was like it was either on the show on the radio, the Adventures in Odyssey radio program was either too early or too late for whenever we were going to church growing up. So
Well,
we would.
so they started recording in '88. I believe it was 2000, the early 2000, like 2005 to 2007 ish. The guy who voiced Mr. Whitaker, the main character, and definitely like moral like
Like
core of
core
the
of the.
show. Like he's not the main character. The kids are kind of like the stars, but he's like the framing devices too is makes it sound like he's just kind of hanging out there. But the voice actor died, and they took a few years off. There were a low over 1,100 episodes of this.
Oh my god.
It was broadcast some places. I think more so though they put out cassette tapes, and obviously this stuff is all over the internet now. I did briefly find it was like season 62 like analysis on some Focus on the Family forum or something, and people are like people would be like what listen like streamed it online. It's probably on a podcast, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as like it was a thing that we were aware of, and of course, Focus on the Family had a bit was more than just this one program, but it because there was a brief cartoon based on
Hmm.
the Adventures in Odyssey thing that I remember seeing at youth group and things like that.
Well, we had
Uh,
friends who owned a Christian bookstore when we lived
oh,
in
that's right.
Idaho.
I forgot
And
about
like
that.
that was like it was that and Veggie Tales were like the hot new thing to be looking at.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it was. I mean, it was a. Well, I don't know how long they were. 20, 15, 20 minute. Like program with a some sort of story. And there was one of the central mechanics of it was what did the machine have a name? Was it the Imagination Station or am I? Or is that from
That
something else?
sounds right. And if I wasn't on my phone recording this, I would literally be looking this up.
Yeah, yes, I remember. Yes, because okay, now I'm actually
It's a
remembering
time
another
machine.
episode. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so it's basically a time machine, and of course, being like a Christian like show, the main like of course, why go back to interesting times in history when you can go back to Bible times, and so it was they go back to this time and that time and learn about a particular Bible character or a Bible story.
High five,
Um,
Jesus.
yeah, exactly. Very boy, oh my god, like just literally we're sitting here and I'm remembering other stuff like the Hanna-Barbera with the adventurer like hunt like mummy style kids. Do you remember them where they
The
fell
Mummy
into?
Kids? What are you
No, no,
talking
no,
about?
no, no. It was like it was a Hanna-Barbera production. It was a
Sure.
cartoon and these kids were like searching for artifacts at
They
some.
fell into a whirlpool of sand.
That's yes. The whirlpool of sand, and then they're like falling through time. It's some weird quantum leap meets Adventures in Odyssey, basically, where they're going through all of the different Bible times and stuff. And oh my god, the that adventure Bible handbook thing that's like it's like a graphic novel of the kid. Do you remember that?
Wait, the kids that did went to Pilgrim's Progress, right?
No, 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 no. Oh God, Pilgrim's
Oh,
Progress
the
is
violent one.
the super violent Pilgrim's Progress. That's like that. I'm pretty sure. Like I looked it up. It was either Image or DC published it. Like this wasn't
I mean,
focus on the family.
that's literally printing money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that was the super buff Rob Liefeld style Pilgrim. With his
I remember every fucking skull had a eyeball hanging
Yep,
out.
yep, yep.
Oh,
Then I was like, how did everything else get taken off of the skull and the eyeballs from it? We're
you
so off.
flayed literally the eyelids, but the eyeball is just fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Eyeballs are
Um,
amazing.
and not fragile at all. But yeah, yeah. Oh my god, there's so many things. Now I'm so excited. We're gonna record 4 episodes a week. Our lives are just
For
gonna become are just gonna become
we're gonna
consuming
people are gonna be
conservative
like, are
Christian
they
media.
Christians now? Um,
Okay, yeah, you want to talk about your sort of memory of the show?
I remember, I remember that one episode, and you were saying they were like 15 minutes long. I think they were longer because, like, a cassette tape has a lot of footage, or a lot of time available for just audio recording. I think it was a fairly long thing because the one episode that I'm remembering is one where this kid comes back out of the imagination station, and this knight from the 12th century is with him. I remember because it was the way I had to learn that the 12th century means the 1300s, and that is like to this day that pisses me off, for no
Oh
real
yeah,
reason.
that's annoying.
Because we would have been listening to this in the 90s, and I was always confused, like, why are we calling this the 20th century? I mean, I was probably 10, so you can 10 and homeschooled, so there were gaps in our knowledge. Sue me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, 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 no kidding. There were there were gaps. Um, but
I have more knowledge of some of other Focus on the Family stuff that wasn't like Focus on the Family books and stuff, because I I was briefly in college thinking about going to seminary, mainly because I was like every other avenue for um mainly because every other avenue just seemed really hard, and I did never had a real job, and I was pursuing a pointless degree, and I didn't want to pursue education, and I knew I didn't have the work ethic to be a writer, and I was 18 or something. So I read a lot of books. Like I read a lot. I read because like our dad has a huge library of, like, the style of Christianity we grew up on is a weirdly academically focused one, and so my
right.
dad has a huge library of wasted paper on all of this nonsense. Um,
Yeah, I
so
mean he was a man who in 1996, 97 got a computer program to try to learn like ancient Greek so that he could like read like
the
the
original New
original
Testament.
manuscripts of the Bible to just help in his sort of study of that kind of thing. Which again, weirdly, not his area of expertise.
Yeah.
He was literally a nuclear engineer. So, but yeah, yeah. Academic. That's a great way of describing it.
So, like, there were some Focus on the Family books that I was reading, and mostly like focused on purity culture because I was always felt really guilty about, thinking that sex was cool. Imagine that.
Wild. What a
What a concept. Adventures in Odyssey was one was that we were kind of focused on.
kind of think because I mean my memory of it was kind of entertaining and like funny and stuff, which makes sense. It's a kid, it's a program for children. Like it's not uh uh it, it it's not a high minded anything. It's a goofy story about where the kids are the main
And it did
characters.
feel like it was a little, and again, we're saying that this is kind of our memories of it, and maybe a lot of the messages were sort of lost. But the a lot of religious media, and even media for kids, tends to be extremely message first, entertainment second. It is something that VeggieTales, I think, does best. VeggieTales is wildly entertaining, still holds up, and honestly, that guy Phil Vischer still has surprisingly good politics.
Oh,
Um,
really? Oh.
but like he's I mean he's kind of a shit poster online, but he has basically confirmed that Larry and Bob are a couple. They like is that him shit posting for like, you know, serious people are not on Twitter.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
saying
It's like,
he's probably just gooning on Twitter, and then he's like fuck it, Larry and Bob are trans and they're in a relationship. Um, but like VeggieTales did it best, and I'm sure at some point we'll do some VeggieTales stuff. But I think we all basically like we remember more about VeggieTales, and I think that's just because one, we're kind of musically minded, and uh,
yeah, the
yeah, I think that's kind of our. I think we'll have a little more to say once we like. I don't know if we'll probably just start. We should probably start with the one episode we remember,
yeah
mainly
the,
because
the
I think that would be
I
very nostalgic.
inventor. Shing! No!
I remember, yeah, the steel coming out. I remember him being like, one. I
He's a
remember this.
witch!
Yeah, he's
No!
a
Warlock, then? No, he's not a witch or a warlock. He's a Whitaker.
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna start watching some of these. If you want, well,
We'll
I don't
probably be
know.
watching them, so we won't do like a live watch. We'll watch them separately
Oh
and
yeah,
take
no, yeah, no,
notes.
no. This is going to be an analysis. Watch it, think of it a little bit, and if you want to watch along, since Focus on the Family is a terrible company, I suggest you find a web browser that doesn't support ads, and watch them through that, so as to not give them any more attention than they need to. But
That would be a great sponsor for something like this.
yeah, hey,
Hey,
Brave browser, you want to sponsor us? Like,
that sounds good to me.
yeah, so yeah, we'll post it up to wherever. I'm sure we'll have some socials at some point to follow
Yes, and
us.
so in right now I'm on TikTok. I'm Jubilee Titan of Joy on there.
I'm
That's my main one.
Eric.Eberle, ERIC.EBERLE. Yeah, come and find us and find wildly different content than well, I don't know wildly, but yeah, this is something that we've been talking about doing for a while. And again, I apologize that our voices sound basically identically, but
At least there's
identical.
video to sort of, so there can be possibly a video thing.
Yeah, yeah. So
This will
yeah,
be the
maybe.
one thing that gets me to do voice training, so we don't sound identical. Or why don't you do voice training? Come on, pitch it up, dude.
Hi, my name is Eric.
Oh, the vocal fry. People love that.
Hi. Hi, I'm Mr. Corpse or whatever his name was. Anyway, this is fantastic audio. This is a
Great
fantastic
content.
side off. Good, glad to sign off. All right, see you
When we
next
find out what
time.
their sign off on Adventures in Odyssey is, we'll bastardize that somehow.
We'll clown on that one when we get an idea. All right,
All right,
bye.
bye.